Hello, I'm Ninja Greg, and you're watching The Ninja Greg Show. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing a different costume this time. Well, that's because this week I'm reviewing the movie Minions, which is not only about the Despicable Me Minions, but supervillains in general. So I thought it'd be more appropriate if I dressed a little bit more villainous for this review. Anyways, on to the review. Synopsis. We find out about the Minions' backstory, where they came from, the first real supervillain they worked for, and their first time meeting a certain despicable character. Now let's take a look at the positives of this movie. First of all, this movie had some really unexpected character development from the Minions. The comic relief from Despicable Me 1 and 2 actually do get character development. According to this movie, they came just like any other life form. They evolved and came out of the sea, and when they came out of the sea, they had actual, goggles made out of seaweed. Yes, seriously. And they've always looked the way that we've come to know them. The obnoxious, yellow, Twinkie-shaped creatures who speak their own unique language, which apparently is a combination of English, Korean, French, and Spanish. And another good positive is, well, for lack of a better word, the villain, Scarlet Overkill. She is exactly what you want in a villain. She's ambitious, menacing, even a little crazy and vengeful. I mean, after she sends the minions, the main minions, Kevin Stewart and Bob, she sends them on their first mission to get Queen Elizabeth's crown, and Bob, through sheer dumb luck, pulls the sword from the stone. Yes, seriously. And he becomes king and gets the crown for himself, and of course, something like that makes national news, gets Scarlet's attention. She gets mad because she thinks the minions turned on her, but even when Bob gives up the throne and gives her the crown, she still throws him in the dungeon. It seems like all's forgiven, but nope, in the dungeon you go. I also really like Scarlet's husband, Herb. He seems like a cool, really fun kind of guy, which is a weird thing to say about a supervillain. And his personality kind of reminded me of Vector from Despicable Me 1. But whereas Vector was kind of a nerd trying to be cool, Herb honestly feels cool. Plus he builds all the really cool gadgets like the Hypno Hat, which can hypnotize anybody, the Lava Lamp Gun, which shoots actual molten lava, and the Stretch Suit, which gives its wearer extendable limbs. And of course he also makes Scarlet's dresses, which have built-in rockets and weapons. The amount of creativity in this movie is unbelievable. Why wasn't this a comic book to begin with? Seriously, Scarlet Overkill comic book. Make it happen, Universal. And fourth and most importantly, what I really like about this movie is it's not just a standalone movie. Technically it is, but it knows what it's a part of. It remembers that it's a part of the Despicable Me franchise, I guess now. Because at the very end of the movie, we see Gru. Yes, Gru is in this movie as a little kid, and he uses his freeze ray for the very first time to freeze Scarlet Overkill and take the crown from her. The minions, obviously impressed, go off with him, and the rest they say is history. So I'm glad they ended the movie like that. Now the negative. Well, like I said, this is a movie that takes the comic relief from the first two Despicable Me movies and makes them the main focus. And as a result, it's pretty silly and stupid. It's a kids movie meant for kids, and it shows. I mean, yeah, they got a couple of really cute and funny scenes where when the minions are out looking for a brand new boss to serve, they kind of get locked overnight in a department store and watch the dating game on the television, and the three bachelors on the dating game are Kevin, Stewart, and Bob, and they're all human analogs of the main minions by the same names. Yeah, real cute, okay? Also, something else I didn't like about this movie is... how do I put this? Is this really a movie that was meant to exist? Was this movie really supposed to happen? Because I remember seeing Despicable Me 2 during the end credits when the Minions are having auditions for the Minion movie. Me, like everybody else, I thought that it was just a big joke. But nope, they were completely serious. But what purpose does this movie have other than just to pander to the kids, who all completely love the Minions, by the way, and just to fatten Universal's wallet? It's not a bad movie, like I said, I enjoyed it, but does it really need to exist? And the final thing I didn't like about this movie is any scene where it's just the Minions talking, which normally would not necessarily be a bad thing, except bear in mind it's the Minions, and they speak their own very unique, untranslated language. And every time it happened, I'm just thinking, okay, I don't want to see these guys babble on and on for 5 minutes. If they're not making me laugh, move the story along, please. But other than that, like I said, it's an enjoyable film. Kids will definitely like it. Would I recommend it? Only if you're a real die-hard Despicable Me fan, especially the Minions, duh. Or if you're really curious as to where the Minions came from, and because it kind of sets the stage for Despicable Me, but only at the very end of the movies. But other than that, give it a skip. You won't be missing anything if you do. Anyways, that's Minions. I'm Ninja Greg. You've been watching the Ninja Greg Show. I'll see you next time.